We do have breaking news out of Ottawa, where the Liberals have tabled their long-promised bill to legalize the use of marijuana.
Ms. Wilson-Raybould, seconded by Ms. Philpott. Mrs. Philpott moves for leave to introduce a bill entitled An Act Respecting Cannabis and to amend the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act, the Criminal Code, and other acts. This motion is deemed adopted.
The bill was formally introduced in the House of Commons just a short time ago. The bill covers some of the complicated issues that will arise with legalizing marijuana, including distribution and law enforcement. The federal plan contains efforts to promote drug education, and it promises to make the drug less accessible to young people. Marijuana will be limited to people over the age of 18. Health Minister Jane Philpott says criminalizing cannabis has not deterred use in young people. The bill also includes limitations for personal possession and marketing restrictions. And let's talk about those marketing restrictions, because those are going to be a big focus of this new legislation once it comes into play, if indeed it does pass. Let's bring in Tony Chapman. He's a consumer and marketing brand expert. Joining me now from our studio in Toronto. Tony, appreciate you coming on. I know you're not necessarily in support of legalizing this, but now that it seems we're on that track, you want to make sure it's done the right way.
Well, if you're going to get in the business, then be in the business. And I think that what the government should be thinking about, number one, launching a product of this size and magnitude, a test market. Every other marketer would do that. Set up a couple of cities, start selling it, look at what the landmines are, what are the opportunities and what the challenges, and then when you have that as perfected as you can, then think about rolling it out nationally.
Yeah, well, when you talk about branding something like this, without, seeming to slight the advertising industry, why does branding matter? The government wants to sell it in clear packaging. You dispute that.
It's ridiculous. And if you're going to, again, if they're going after the tax revenue and to control organized crime, clear packaging is actually going to hurt both of these cases, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you don't go into a liquor store and look at a bunch of clear bottles. Part of the whole thing is the brand. The brand tells you where the product's origin's from, is it organic, what are the strains. It tells you what the product's for. Is it, in the case of medical marijuana, is it to help your joints, is it to help you sleep at night, or is it to stimulate you? And so when it's over the counter, clear plastic and tax, and then now we're saying to society, by the way, it's legal, you're going to see this whole underground economy show up and say, you know what, I'm going to put it within arm's reach of desire. I'm going to create cool brand names and product names that create a niche. For example, if you're going to have pot for sex, somebody will come up with the Mile High Club. Something that so this whole creative community in Canada has an opportunity to get involved with branding, packaging, retail design, advertising, buying media on your network, all the things that come with launching a major consumer brand. And the Canadian government say, no, we're not going to let any of those jobs be created. We're not going to let any of that creativity be unleashed. It's going to be in a nice plastic bag. And what we're just going to see is fuel more organized crime and underground economy. If they're going to do this, if they're going to be in this business, then get in it and do it and treat it like a consumer brand. Control it, absolutely, like you control alcohol, but put it in the hands of the consumer how they want to buy it.
So interesting, Tony, from your perspective, and surely the government's had a lot of consultation on this, why do you think they're going this route and not the route that you're suggesting, which in essence would not only, as you say, create the jobs that you mentioned, but put more money in their coffers, likely?
Optics. They want to say what they're really doing is taking back control from organized crime, being fully in control on how this product's distributed. Don't worry, your kids won't be smoking more marijuana. Again, a test market would prove that, not some sort of thinking that's happened within the government basis. But all it's allowing people that sell this stuff on the street to go, now I don't even worry about getting caught anymore because it's legal. So they've got to realize that if a consumer goes for convenience, what a consumer wants, if they want the product within arm's reach of desire, absolutely, like they sell cigarettes and alcohol, you need ID, but putting it out in mass distribution is going to put some new stores on Main Street for the Main Streets that want that kind of store, but it's also going to create a lot of jobs, and again, our creative community is starving. The last point I want to make is when the Americans finally follow suit, and they will, Canada would be poised to have these incredible brands, this in total creative campaigns baked, and we could go in and actually be a massive export market for us. So we're missing all of this by this concept of clear. Nobody buys a consumer product in a clear plastic bag.
Tony Chapman, consumer and marketing brand expert. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.